Oh, 3 minutes late. Super genius move of the day already, as it's episode 23 of the Schultzycast. So I work out first thing in the morning and try to prepare for the show, so I'm ready to go right after I get out of the shower. So before I get in the shower, I press start on the coffee maker, not realizing maybe how long the coffee takes. So I have the same cup right here. And all of a sudden, I'm pouring the coffee into the cup. And why am I only getting now? I only had a little bit of coffee, but I put in the same amount of water. I know how much to put in. Why is my coffee only 2/3 a cup? Turn around, the coffee's still brewing. Coffee wasn't done. It's all over the coffee maker. We'll get to that later. Already 17 in there. Yeah. Super genius. It's going to be a good day. Then I tried to add some more social media handles, and you got to pay more for that. So we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. To get on LinkedIn and on Instagram, you got to upgrade. So we held off on that. Also, this is going to be a short one because I got Tim Beck from Coastal Carolina. No, they can't point the right way. Coming on Lockdown Sunbelt. So we'll record that right at 7:30. So we'll finish this one up at 7:25. All right. So a lot to talk about today. Cajun softball, LSU, just an overall great atmosphere. I love the idea that LSU and the Cajuns play a home and home, with Jerry Glasgow here for Lafayette and for UL here in Lafayette, and Beth Torina in Baton Rouge. Whatever the issue was, prior to that has thawed. And it's such an easy midweek ball game. It's an hour would be long both ways. Great crowd. Cajuns will probably draw more. Probably means more to the Cajuns than it does to LSU, but that's fine. And there was nothing about the whole, like baseball, what they're having. Well, we're announcing 38, but it's really 25. No. Last night they announced 2,500, and they had all of it. In fact, I would tell you so. I was, Foot and I had to go get Mike Desimo, and it was supposed to be at 5:40, but we knew that it wasn't. Didn't even start until after 6. So we get Mike, and it was only about 10, 15 minutes. We're walking back 6:15, 6:20, and the outfield, which we can see from where we're coming, is packed. Now, there's a couple of reserve seats that are empty because it's still 6:15, 6:20, and people may still be getting to the ballpark. But it was not. It just looked like it was completely full, and that's a great atmosphere. And you would have to think it shouldn't, but you would take it into consideration if the Cajuns wanted to audition why they should be hosting a softball regional. There's that. it's right there, right? We've seen, I think like Arizona baseball and Arizona softball getting regionals, and probably deservedly so, but then nobody's there. So as for the game, complete opposite of what happened last week, right? Where the Cajuns got a Laney Crater home run, 2-0. LSU actually only got a run in the bottom of the first, but the Cajuns had jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Here, LSU jumps out to a 2-0 lead, and actually it was 2-0, nobody on, and Taylor Pleasance gets a single. Then there's a double, there's an error, there's a wild pitch, and all of a sudden it's 2-0 LSU. Sam Landry comes out, Chloe Riaceto comes in, and she basically shuts the door. She was outstanding. By the way, Taylor Pleasance, I just seen her in 2 ball games. She's outstanding. She's a great player. I'm going to guess the average is down a little bit because she's hitting. Her power numbers are still good. 277 is probably not as great as she'd like to be hitting, but she's a special softball player. She is outstanding. She can dominate offensively and defensively. So LSU takes a 2-0 lead. Cajuns come right back, right? They had their first 5 Cajuns all reached, making it a 2-0 ball game, tied it up at 2. LSU makes a change. And I know Jerry Glasgow is all happy about this. He said it. What was the difference between last week's approach and this week's approach? We want to be aggressive, not on a new pitcher with the bases loaded. You have to know the game situation. And it was Vasquez and Valdez. No, Vasquez and is it Elistad? It was. I have to go back and look now. Let me see if I don't think I have it. You know what? Hold on a second. Hold on. So no, it was Rowe. It was Sam Rowe and Valdez who both popped out, right? Or maybe one grounded out weekly. But then CC and Caleb Falterman each walked, right? They walked the 8-9 hitters with 2 outs. So what could have been a 2-2 ball game and all the momentum to LSU ends up being a 4-2 ball game. Then Maya Davis comes up for the second time in the inning, and she gets a big 2-run single. So that breaks it open a little bit. And for all intents and purposes, the ball game is over. LSU, they did get a 2-run home run and I think 1 more base runner, but they had 5 base hits all game. So there was not a whole lot going on for LSU offensively. Cajuns got back-to-back home runs, both Oppo Tacos, right? Langeliers goes to right center. Elistad goes to left. That makes it an 8-2 ball game. At one point in time, Cajuns had maybe a shot to run rule LSU, but that didn't happen. Then they got a 2-run home run. Maya Davis almost makes a great catch. It was Carly Petty with a 2-run shot to straightaway center. But the Cajuns added 1 more run. They got one in the 5th. So it was 9-2, and Tigers make it 9-4. But it was all Cajuns last night. So let's see. So I didn't realize where they were RPI before the game. During the game, LSU was 4, and the Cajuns were 16. After the game, Cajuns went up to 14. LSU stayed at 4. And then by the time I got home and went to bed and did Lockdown Sunbelt, Cajuns were back down to 15. So let's see where they are this morning. College softball. Because Jerry Glasgow thinks they are going to host now. Cajuns are still 15. All right, let's see where they are, the ELO. Cajuns are 16. So they are right there. Also, I noticed yesterday, Cajuns went back up to number 1 for their out-of-conference schedule. Out-of-conference schedule is number 1 in the nation. So, and he said, we got 2 top 5 wins, right? They got 1 at Oklahoma and 1 at home against LSU. What the Cajuns are trying to avoid, and I would probably believe that the Tigers don't want any part of it either, right? As great as a Cajuns-Tigers regional is, it's always in Baton Rouge. Tigers lost to the Cajuns last year in Baton Rouge. Probably looking for something new. And the Cajuns probably deserve to host. Now, they are getting McNeese tonight at McNeese. That's got letdown game written all over it. At the same time, Jerry Glasgow said, if we take care of business, we'll probably host. Let's see what the predicted results are. I can't imagine they're predicted to lose again. They are 34-15. Let's see. Predicted results is 41-15. RPI at 12. You're going to host, right? One would think. At that point in time, the non-conference schedule goes to 3. It's still outstanding. And, that would be the difference between what, how baseball scheduled, and we've been talking about that, and how softball scheduled. If softball won a few more ball games, not only would they be hosting, they'd probably be a national seed. But they're looking to host again. And here's also the difference between baseball and softball. Sunbelt softball, you're probably going to get 3 teams, and you got a shot at 3 teams. All right, Cajuns, Texas State, and South Alabama is right on the bubble. Okay. The difference between what baseball and softball is going to be, it'll be a shock if anybody but those 3 teams in softball wins the tournament. It's basically going to be a shock if the Cajuns don't win the tournament. But if Texas State or South Alabama wins, they're pretty good. All right. But if somebody else comes up and wins it, then that'll be surprising. Where, I presume the Cajuns and Coastal would be favored right now to win the Sun Belt Conference tournament. depending on the way the rest of it goes. But I don't think anyone would be shocked if Troy won it. I mean, JMU seems to be pretty good with their rankings. I don't know, maybe Georgia Southern's got some pitching. It wouldn't be completely shocking if the Cajuns nor Coastal won it to get somebody else in. All right. And RPI-wise, again, it's very odd. When you're doing bracketology, you got Southern Miss coming in. And Southern Miss, they're around 50. They had a nice win over Tulane last night in New Orleans. They're coming here this weekend. They are moving up to like 46, 47. But they need to beat, they get Coastal at home next week. And they got the Cajuns this week. And this is their opportunity to get, if they take 2 out of 3 from the Cajuns and 2 out of 3 from Coastal, they'll be sitting right on that proverbial bubble. In the high 30s, low 40s. They may even be mid 30s or low 30s with, if they win 4 out of the next 6 Sun Belt games. So that'll be big for Southern Miss. But again, the difference is, in softball, one of those 3 teams are going to win the tournament, whereas we'll see who wins the baseball tournament. It wouldn't be quite as surprising. Probably a little bit of a surprise if it's Coastal, if it's not Coastal or the Cajuns as of right now. Again, the Cajuns got to go through Southern Miss. And they had some, they had some news. And again, I apologize for not knowing, the Southern Miss pitching and everything like that. But the broadcasters for Southern Miss, or for Tulane, it mentioned that Will Armistead is out for the season and that Jackson Parker is out for the season. Andrew Abadi put that out there, and he covers it for Pine Belt Sports. So I don't know if that's true or not. Some other guys they're debating that. The game was on the road, so we're not sure if that's the case. So, again, I don't know who they are. I probably should look into that for tomorrow and Friday's episode. But this is a big weekend for Southern Miss. Absolutely huge weekend for Southern Miss and the Cajuns. Cajuns got to get their pitching back on track, which I think they will. And we'll see. Again, yesterday, Deggs, 2 days ago. 2 days ago? What day is it? It's Wednesday. So Monday, he was kind of clear. I don't want to make changes, but you got to step up. Although I'm not really sure that Carson Fluno pitched any differently than the other 2 guys. I'm really not really sure. So we'll see how that goes. All right. NFL draft is tomorrow. Being a little bit of a homer here because that's who I watched. I want Jayden Daniels for the Patriots. I don't care if he starts game 1. You got Jacoby Brissett. I also happen to think the Patriots are closer to the playoffs than others, but that could be me. If they didn't lose their 2 big defensive stars last year, they probably would have won 6 or 7 games. Instead, they won 4 in a big Christmas Eve ball game. So instead of getting the number 2 pick where they would get Jayden Daniels, now they're going to be stuck with Drake May. If they trade out of it, I'm going to be apoplectic. And I'm impressed I actually said that word correctly. I want Jayden Daniels. The thing we're worried about Jayden Daniels is he skinny? Is that what we're going with? He's skinny? So Drake May has all the tools and all the flash, I guess. I think Jayden Daniels has pretty good tools, right? I mean, he just looks like, to me, and I know it'll be different even in the SEC to the NFL, he just looks like, he makes the other guys look like they're standing still. No. Again, I'm not a Carolina football expert, so I'm not sure what Drake May had around him. I just think when you look at Drake May's numbers and Jayden Daniels' numbers, those are 2 different things. So we'll see. Also, it came out yesterday, Jayden Daniels' mom outed Herm Edwards, which I don't know if that has anything to do whatsoever with draft. Someone said it was a hit piece. I'm not sure how it's a hit piece. Arizona State under all kinds of recruiting clouds, and it'll be interesting to see what ESPN does with Herm Edwards. Are they really going to truck him out there for, football draft stuff? Oh, by the way, Herm, you got a show cause. You can't coach in the NCAA, not that you ever will be, but you're a cheat and a pretty big one. So we'll see if that's going to have any effect on his job. He did get a $4.4 million buyout. I mean, Arizona and Arizona State may be 2 of the worst run sports athletic departments in the nation. They are there. I mean, one is broke, right? I mean, we think that isn't like Arizona like 250 million in debt, whereas the Cajuns are like 8 million. Like we think the Cajuns 8 million is bad. Arizona with Pac-12 money, if $250 million. I mean, what are we doing? And Arizona State having all kinds of issues. Arizona State having all kinds of recruiting issues. Also with the NFL draft, I will say I don't know how much I buy the odds. I'm not sure what odds have anything to do. I mean, I know do the odds makers know something? You know, we like to think they do. They play more math than anything else. But I remember, you know, the NBA draft a couple years ago. Let me see here if we get this here. NBA draft. It really would have been 2022. So that's when Banchero was taken first. And Jabari Smith was taken third. Because it had been for a while, Jabari Smith was going to be the number one pick out of Auburn. And Chet Holmgren ended up being number two. Smith fell to third. And the morning of the draft is when the odds changed. And now you have odds where the Chargers are taking a quarterback. And so this was all from Unsportsmanlike. My buddy Evan Cohen and Michelle Smallman was there. Canty getting ready for the draft already. And the producer Nuno noticed, and it's been elsewhere, that the numbers for J.J. McCarthy has changed, where he's getting drafted, and the numbers for the Chargers getting drafted. And so they put this out there, and Schefter calls in. He's just sitting in his hotel room in Detroit, and he's like, yo, stop. Now, he said that the slot may go to J.J. McCarthy. But he's like, will J.J. McCarthy basically play for the Chargers? He's like, no, he's not playing for the Chargers. Or he also actually said that the Chargers are not drafting J.J. McCarthy. They could draft him and trade him later. So I happen to think the J.J. McCarthy thing is all a smokescreen. I'm not buying it yet. I appreciate trying to win football games. And if you don't, let's be honest, right? Wasn't it Lombardi who said, you know, if you pass the ball, 3 things happen and 2 of them are bad. An incompletion or an interception. And that didn't even include getting sacked. So if you can run the ball and play defense and win, why not do it? And so we really didn't see J.J. McCarthy lead them to a victory until, you know, they had the lead against Alabama and he drove them down there and put them away. Now, a lot of that was with his legs, but he made some passes. But I remember watching the Penn State game and he did not throw at all. The one throw he made in the second half, I thought, was maybe in the first half. He threw behind the tight end. It ended up being pass interference, but it was a bad throw. So I'm not buying it. We'll see. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's either way, if he drops or not. And I'm a Go Blue fan, but I'm not buying into the J.J. McCarthy hype. I'm just not. So we'll see. The Vikings need a quarterback. I saw Linda Cohn says the Giants are going to move up to get a quarterback. They're moving up from 6 to 4 or 5. All right. Cardinals seem to be in the catbird seat, right? They, they're not going to lose all that much if they get an extra draft pick or two moving from 4 to 6, right? I mean, if the Giants move up, they're not moving up to take a wide receiver. So they take J.J. McCarthy. Say the Chargers trade out. I guess at that point in time, you're not trading out for a quarterback, but maybe the Chargers take one of the wide receivers and the Cardinals take the other wide receiver. I heard Jim Nagy yesterday say, as much as Marvin Harrison Jr. is this great wide receiver, that he's not necessarily the number one guy on the board. He didn't come to the Senior Bowl, didn't do any of the pro day stuff. I mean, film speaks for itself. And so Malik Neighbors is there. Roma Dunze is there. You got a lot of different choices. We'll see who the Saints take. I did see someone from the NFL Network, I forget who. He claims that this could be the first time in NFL history that a defensive player is not taken in the top 10, although he's got Dallas Turner going late. But you could get 4 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers. That's 7. Do you get 2 tackles? That's 9. No. We'll see. I saw somebody did as much as the Saints need a tackle, what happens if 3 or 4 tackles are taken and Brock Bowers is sitting there? You got to take Brock Bowers, right? You can't be stupid about it. You can't be trading back just to get more picks because your tackles are gone. You got to take. I think Brock Bowers is the biggest mismatch, and I think he's the best player in the draft. Got to be healthy, but I think he's a huge mismatch, right? He's faster than the linebackers and much bigger than the safeties. So I'm not going to be mad if Brock Bowers is the guy. You're going to have to find some tackles, and you may have to, second or third round. I know they don't pick for a bit, right? They got first and second picks. They don't have anything in the third or fourth right now. And guys are going to be making, guys are getting cut, salary caps, out of training camp. We'll see if Trevor Penning, we saw that Mickey Loomis said they're fine with Trevor Penning. Hasn't worked out the way everybody wanted to. And Ryan Ramczyk's knee, they not only do they need left tackle, they may need 2 tackles. So we'll see how that goes. All right, it is the Schultzycast. We got to kind of wrap this up. I almost got lost in what I was doing. So many people on to begin with, 50 people almost. First thing in the morning. Let's see what else we have here. Again, I need a better way to do this than going to Facebook. Can I write it down? All right, LSU did blank Nicholls. Corey got hit in the head. God bless him, right? This guy got smoked, and he had his glove, right? He's like sitting in the bleachers, left field. This is my one big chance, and right through the mitt. Kyle Peterson's taking him out to lunch. Chris Blair is going to bring him into the booth. Poor guy. Hopefully he got treated, right? They went and showed it on TV, and he's got bleeding. He's got cut. So hopefully somebody from LSU went over there to, can we help you out? Hopefully he's okay. He's like, yeah, it doesn't feel good. It was all of a 109-mile home run ball off of Tommy White. So hopefully he's okay. But LSU with a relatively easy game, which they haven't had too many of this year. They beat Nicholls. Cajuns hosting Lance Berkman, which is kind of cool. And Houston Christian today. Again, can't lose that ball game. They got Houston Christian and Jackson State coming in. You cannot lose these ball games. McGeehee's going tonight for the Cajuns. We'll see if Martinez gets in there. Moody may get in there. Maybe Etheridge. And again, we'll see if Deggs, by who pitches tonight or who doesn't pitch tonight, and who does pitch tonight, we'll see if there's a change on Sunday. All right. Deggs kind of goes the way the wind blows, right? He's not the most patient of all guys. And kind of goes with the hot hand. So we'll see. I would rather not. I guess here's the idea with having LP Langevin pitch on Fridays, that you can use him twice. Obviously, pitched on Saturdays, so can't use him twice in that case. But if you move him to a starting role, I just like him in Fridays. It's a great combination of Herman and Langevin. I just think it's a great combination. I would not mess with that and try to figure out if we have a Sunday starter. Also, I'm not going to overreact to one bad outing by Carson Fluno that, again, I don't think was any worse than Herman or Chase Morgan. Didn't Chase Morgan give up 5 runs? Herman gave up 5 runs, didn't get help from his defense, but, and no one pitched well on Sunday, as it turns out, right? No one stepped up on Sunday. It is what it is. All right, game 2 of Pelican series. Really a shame that they didn't get that game 1. I think Oklahoma City is going to be more ready. They're in an experienced playoff club. Maybe weren't ready. Pelicans had played, 2 games during the week, whereas Oklahoma City was out for, since the end of the regular season. I am terrified of this ball game. This game may be a little bit more of a blowout. We'll see. At the same time, if Brandon Ingram can hit some shots, maybe the Pelicans win. All right. So we shall see how that goes. All right. Really good, quick conversation. I cannot still believe that I got to clean up my coffee maker. We'll be out at Houston Christian game tonight with the Cajuns. And when you know it, we went back and forth on the Twitterverse with Southern Miss fans about the attendance. I probably could look at, I don't know even how you would look into this, maybe top 10 group of 5 stadiums. The thing about the Cajuns ballpark, it's probably the biggest in group of 5. So they probably should have made it 4,500. So when you do draw 3,000 paid and it's 2,500 or even 2,000 is now a little bit less than half. And so, you got Southern Miss fans, claiming that this should be sold out. I mean, I would agree with that, but it is what it is. But boy, it'd be nice to have 4,000 fans Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now you got some competition with Festival. But okay, I mean, all right, we'll see if that makes a difference. But, you can Festival after the game, right? The game is 6, 2, and 1. You can do a bunch of Festival after the game. We will be in Sulphur for softball, helping out Jeff Schneider, former Cajuns SID, with the softball broadcasts. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I got to go get ready to interview Tim Beck for Locked On Sunbelt, head coach of Coastal Carolina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Episode 23 of the Schultzycast. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back again on Thursday. Please like, share, subscribe. Appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody.